meeting.
Who's the candidate? Who's the candidate? Who's the candidate? Who's the candidate?
I know what it is to be a victim of police brutality, to fight for justice, for Amadou Diallo, Abner Louima, because I was there. Racial inequality is woven into the fabric of America.
2021, make your vote count now, count now, count now, count now. Vote now, vote now, vote now. Every card down, please a ballot now.
We have to end inequality in our school and in housing and ensure we won't have crime and gun violence destroying our city. This is our moment.
Make it count, make it count, make your vote, make it count. We say, oh yeah, who's our candidate? 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 Who's our candidate?
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Good afternoon. This is Parrot TV, Talking Politics. My name is Robert Pretz. My co-host, Anthony Rivecchio, is working at the Board of Elections today. He's working this week. He's a financial advisor. He does very well in that. Obviously, he needs the extra money from the Board of Elections. He'll be making $2,800 for 9 days. My other co-host, Dion Powell, is somewhere out there in TV in the Bronx. He's working for Sammy Ravello, making the few pennies that Sammy can give him. And we're going to go on a different state today, on a different way or a different theme. There are several things I'm going to mention afterwards, but I want to have my two guests, Grace Lovick and Steve Koss. Now, Grace held a very successful hip-hop festival on Allerton Avenue for DJ Jazzy Jazz. So, Grace, would you start and tell us about that?
Well, it was an opportunity that presented itself to me. I was working on a different project, but that got the axe. So this opportunity presented itself to me, and I said, let's just do it. And it wasn't so easy. I mean, with the paperwork, dealing with the city and everything else. So, and it's DJ Jazzy J, not Jazz. And my last name is Lavaglio, not Lavage.
Pardon me on that also.
See, I spelled it correctly for you.
Okay, no, because I'm going by the minutes of the precinct council meeting.
Right. That's on. Oh, anyway, that's a whole different. We'll talk about that.
But you shortened it there. So, who were some of the other hip hop artists that appeared with DJ Jazzy J?
There was. Listen, to be honest, I was so busy running around, I didn't even get to see the majority of what happened. I was busy running around, making sure things were right and wrong, and whatever I had to do. I know there was. I can't even remember, to be honest. It's a blur. It's a blur.
Let's move over to the artist so we can have him go. Steve, you did a wonderful mural on the wall opposite where Jazzy Jazz started.
Yes.
Tell us about the mural, please.
I found out that Grace was having an event there, and I'm a kid from Harlem that I followed with, I was inspired by hip hop and the art of it, and the art of having these words that rhyme together, and these messages came out. So I'm all about helping the community, and I'm all about helping the next human and trying to be a better human, to just give more love and to communities. And when this event came up, I just wanted definitely to be a part of it. So I became one of the sponsors. I grabbed my own paint and took my own time and artwork, and I just put it up on that wall. And the things that I experienced that day was absolutely beautiful, to see a community come together and just give love and embrace one another. There was no incidents, from what I believe, not one incident went on.
No,
Everything was
no.
just absolutely wonderful, and we did it from the heart for the community, and that's what it's about, just giving to the next person, and
Hmm.
inspiring and giving hope to a community, and then this event just went off fantastic. I'm honored to be part of it.
Where did you find Steve Grace?
Well, actually, that was with my one of my partners was Al Pizarro, and I believe Steve reached out to Al, right?
Yes.
Because you heard that was going
Mhm.
on, and he listen.
Yeah.
He's a very modest man, Steve, but he's a wonderful artist. He's a three-time award-winning artist. He's done a lot of things all
Mhm.
over the world, and he's just being very modest. His for him to donate his time, his paint, his energy, his soul, if you will, his ideas to do it, that is was priceless. That is, there's
Yeah.
nothing that can pay for that. Because if I had to pay him, it wouldn't have got done
No, no, it's a
because
beautiful
things were
mural.
tight.
Mhm. Now,
Yeah.
Steve, what other murals have you done?
Yes. Well, I'm a licensed cartoonist. I've been doing licensing with Disney and Marvel. So not only have I done murals, I've done stuff that have gone all over the world and products that's gone into stores. And I'm just a kid from Harlem that grew up in believing, because my father always encouraged me and my family always gave me the love. So, I mean, as big as murals, I've done things that have gone all over the world. And that to me has been exciting. Yeah.
Anything coming up very soon or in the near future?
Well, I just finished another thing in the Bronx. It's the Griffin's Deli. It's over on Gun Hill Road and Webster, and they heard about all the stores that I've been doing. Lately, I've been doing artwork inside the stores, the entire store, and they're becoming this iconic thing where people want to, from the hip hop world, want to go over and just see. I also did the Hut, which is a sneaker store in the Bronx.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of great things in the Bronx is happening with Steve Cass and the art and just communities and building people to come together and just experience some beautiful things.
Great. Now, Grace, you said that you had help on the event. I know
Right.
that there was the district leader from the 80th Assembly District, Irene Estrada, who helped you, but
Yes.
she seemed to be all looking for the cameras and not working. You were the one working on this, basically. And Steve was always by his mural painting. Um,
Right.
so,
Correct.
I mean, I have to give kudos to you, Grace.
Aw.
All right. Now, there are two events that are coming up on Allerton Avenue on
Right.
this Saturday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
There
Right.
is the Allerton Homeowners Association and Merchants Association are having a Halloween parade from
Mm-hmm.
10 a.m. till
Mm-hmm.
12.
Right.
And
That's
then
every.
why don't you say what's coming up afterwards, Grace?
Well, that's an every day, every year. The Allerton International Merchants does the walk with the Halloween walk with the kids in
Hmm.
costume, and they get candy from around the different merchants. And then tomorrow also is Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez's first. Is it fall harvest or some? I forget the. I think it's fall harvest that she's doing. It's a
Hmm.
first time event. So um, I'm gonna check. I'll check out both events. I usually participate with the Allerton International Merchants, so I'll probably do that as well as check out what Natalia's doing. And
Right. That started under Assemblywoman Naomi Rivera. Uh,
well, no,
well,
no, that there was never a fall harvest on Allerton. There was
she called it.
Naomi started the food festival. That's
That's
what she started.
right.
This fall harvest, that's something totally new.
Well,
That's new. Naomi
that,
never did that.
that's because the Allerton Avenue Merchants Association doesn't want to be a part of it. So,
Mhm.
so our Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez, who is trying to do something so people know who she is, so if
Mhm.
she can get reelected next year, she'll be up for reelection next year.
Right. Correct.
Uh,
Yes.
but it's basically going to be very small, just to
Mhm.
introduce certain politicians who may come, who are still
Right.
running. We still have an election. Don't forget, November 3rd is election day, and we
November 2nd.
November 2nd. You're right. I'm a day.
Right.
I'm a day
Right in
ahead.
both.
I'm waiting for the results. That's why.
Ah, okay. Well,
And
it's been
this
a
year
real one.
there is no ranked choice voting on here. You just vote for the person and that's it. No
Wow,
ranked choice, which is
I thought
really
there
going to
was.
confuse people. Have you voted yet?
It is. It is going to confuse people, and I thought there was going to be ranked choice voting, but I mean, I already know who I'm voting for. So,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to file a complaint with the broadcaster here that I was subjected to some torture when you had the commercial of Eric Adams come on before you came. I thought that was cruel and unusual punishment.
Well, let me just tell you that you're going to see another one very shortly, in about 8 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Okay. And they've paid for the advertisement here on
Oh.
this show. So, if any other candidate wanted to advertise, they could have. Okay.
Well,
So,
how does one do that? Maybe they don't know about it.
well,
I,
there's a number that's going on the bottom
okay.
on how to advertise, if you can see it. Right
Oh
now, it's
God.
streamed across the bottom. If anybody wants to advertise on this show, normally we
Oh
have
my. Let
three
me take a
political
screenshot.
experts:
Hold on.
myself,
Yeah.
Mr. Anthony Rivecchio, who is the founder of the Northwest Bronx Democrats,
Yes.
and Mr. Dion Powell, who is a very big political consultant. Right now, his candidate is Sammy Ravello,
Yes.
who lost the Democratic primary but is running on the conservative line in the general election.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay. Now, let's go to a little local politics.
Did Steve leave? I guess he left, huh?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right.
Let's go to local politics. Did you see Community Board 11's meeting last night?
I did not because you know, I I have this gripe with them. I haven't expressed it to maybe a couple of board members, but there is really no outreach to let people know that where the meeting, I mean, about the meeting with the link and everything else. You have to, because I spoke to Jeremy about that. He said you have to go to the community board website, go look on to the meeting thing and scroll. I mean, it's tedious and it's very annoying, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Well,
Um,
let me correct
so
you.
I didn't see it. I saw some of it after the fact, not during.
Let me just say that Jeremy is the district manager for
Yes.
Community Board 11. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and a district manager's job is involved in a lot of things, including keeping up the website for the community board. Now, my gripe with that website is that when you go to it and you look for agendas of meetings, it's
Right.
never up until maybe a few hours before the meeting.
Right.
Now, I attended the meeting last night. It was a virtual meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and they took at least a half hour to discuss a liquor license for a store in the Van Ness Morris Park area. The board members were going back and forth whether they should postpone it, but the board has only 30 days to give their
Mm-hmm.
input. They're only advisory. They can say, well, we think that this establishment should get the liquor license, or give reasons why they think that the applicant should not get the liquor license. They
Right.
are not God. They do not set rules.
I
They
know.
don't tell stores what they can and can't do, like they were
Right.
doing last night. They said
Right.
that we want you to close at 2 a.m., say, and if you don't, we'll say no to this, on your liquor license. That's
Well,
wrong.
I think it's a slippery slope, Bob. It's
Mhm.
wrong. It's not wrong, and it's what I understand what the community board has to do. I know they get very, how do you say, get very tedious about some of these things. You would think after all the years that a lot of these board members have been on the board would know how to work on the board in the meeting. A lot of them still don't know how to turn on a microphone, Bob.
Well, well,
I mean,
Grace.
so,
Mhm.
but wait, I saw that part. I saw it after it was over, and I saw that, and I saw your comments and everything. They the state liquor license they're only an advisory, and the
Mhm.
state liquor license will do what the state liquor license is going to do.
Liquor authority.
Sometimes they take their advice, they'll go along with it, but then there are times when they won't. For example, if they have an objection to a liquor license, the proprietor of that store can go straight to the SLA and talk to them, and usually they'll go with the proprietor, and the heck with what the community
Well,
board said. So it's, but for them to want to try to put some kind of brakes on it, because it's really, when you have people complaining like that, and I thought they were supposed to be closed by 2 in the morning. You
no,
know, I
it's
didn't know it
4
was four
a.m.
o'clock in the morning. That's crazy. People
No,
are
that's
taking advantage of the fact that the police can't do anything about it. Nobody can do anything about it unless it's going to get violent. At some point, people are
well,
going to have enough.
Grace. I was on Community Board 8 for 6 years. I
Mm-hmm.
was vice chair of the Public Safety Committee, which heard liquor licenses.
Right.
Okay. And this is how I got to know Commissioner Shea of the police department. He just happened to be the precinct commander at the 50th precinct while I was
Mhm.
vice chair. So we're good friends, Commissioner Shea and I. But okay, going back to it, New York State Liquor Authority says 4 a.m. is the closing. All right.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing the community board can do about that, except there are certain things, but Board 11 doesn't know that. And I'm not going to tell them because I'm not on the board.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right. I applied just like you did, and Borough President Diaz passed us over for people
Again,
who what?
not the first time. This is like the sixth or seventh time I've been passed over every
Well,
year. Every time there's an opening, they put people in that don't know where they came from, never saw them at any meetings. I mean, I've been going to community board meetings for, geez, what, at least 8 7 8 years, or whatever, something like that. Except recently, because of the pandemic, that you can't find the meeting link online. It's just been a disruption for that. But I've gone to every pretty much every community board meeting. I've participated, and they put people on that came out of the blue. Don't Never saw them at a meeting, never heard from them. All of a sudden now they're on the board. So there's something wrong with that process. It's not a merit based process. It's not anything like that. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you don't know anything, but you know somebody high up that can put you in, that's all that matters. And that is bad for the community.
you're
That is
absolutely
what screws the whole thing up, and which is one of the reasons why they had this on the agenda to change the law about community boards having term limits. If it wasn't for this type of abuse, which comes from the borough president's office, let's put the blame where it goes, okay? And the other elected officials that put people in that are their buddies, they're donors, they're this, they're that, whatever. That's corruption. I call that corruption. So
well.
the whole thing is corrupt.
Let's just get one thing straight, Grace. That is your opinion and not mine, correct?
No, that's my opinion,
Okay.
definitely. That's my
I have
opinion based on years of experience and watching and learning and listening to and seeing how everything goes, how it works. Okay.
Well, let me just tell you how I got on Community Board 8. I was rejected by Borough President Ferrer and Carry On. And when Borough President Diaz came in, I knew John DeCio, his communications director, who said, go apply for the board. And I got on 1, 2, 3. I even went to Councilman Oliver Copel called me in and said to me, you gave your application to the borough president, not me.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
said to him, yeah, Ruben wants to know if you're going to put me on or he has to. Okay. That's the
Hmm.
politics that's involved, like you say,
Yes,
Grace.
it is.
And the
You're right.
reason that I am not on Community Board 11 and I was taken off of Community Board 8 was that I did not support Rafael Salamanca in his election bid for the city council in the special election in 2017. And I was
Hmm.
warned by two operatives of the Bronx Democratic Organization. One
Hmm.
was Benny Katea and the other was John Sakara Jr., who said to me, Mr. Press, you're up for reappointment this year. You better watch out. And
Hmm.
sure enough, May 31st, the last day at 10 p.m., I got a call from Dan Padnack, who was the chair of the board, who said, gee, I'm sorry, Bob, the borough president didn't reappoint you. I saw him the next day on an event that I was covering, since I am a reporter. Okay, I saw the borough president. John DeCio was there. I had sent him emails. He ran away from me saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't answer your emails. The borough president went He was like this. He did not know what to say to me. I said, "Don't worry, Ruben. I know what it was about." And he says, "You were a bad boy, Bob." So this was his chance to make it up to me, to put me on Community Board 11, and he didn't. All right. So
Well, listen, this is something that needs to be changed on how community board members are appointed. Okay. I believe they should just be elected just like everybody else, because it's just a rubber stamp. I mean, they have no real power, as far as I know, other than be an advisory to the SLA, to New York City when you want to do events and certain other things. But other than that, it's it's supposed to be to help what's going on in the different communities within the district, and it doesn't turn out that way because you have a lot of people from certain areas that dominate the board, and most of the stuff, anytime that something needs to get done, it's in that area. The rest
Grace,
of the area that's outside of those are always overlooked and are
Grace,
not represented.
let me just say that I was the board's budget chair, and I went to budget negotiations one year with the city agencies. And Jeremy was sitting down, the district manager of Board 11 was sitting at the table, and I was sitting next to George Torres, who is the district manager of Board 12. He said to me, "What are you doing here? You're not a board chair or a district manager." I said to him, "I'm the budget chair." We went through that day, and at the end of the day, he said to me, "It's a good thing you're here. You know what you're talking about." I got our community board, our police department, I should say, the 50th precinct, a new van for them because their community affairs or their auxiliary car was 11 years old. I got the final funding for the Van Cortlandt Library pushed. All right. There was a lot of stuff that I was able to do that other people couldn't do, even district managers or community board chairs. All right. Now, the show is about politics, Grace. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What is your opinion of Governor Kathy Hochul?
Cuomo 2.0. That's what.
She
needs to go. She needs to go. And Letitia James is not the one. She's another one.
Okay.
Don't like her. Kathy Hochul needs to go. I don't even know who else is running, but
well, you have Jumaane Williams, you have
Bill de
Blasio.
Yeah, right. Okay, sure. No, sorry.
These are the candidates. Okay.
Well, there's other candidates. They may not be Democratic candidates, but they're candidates. I look at everybody. I don't care what party you're from. I'm looking at what you're going to do to help the state and to help our communities in the long run. And if all of them are looking to defund police and allow criminals free reign like they've already done and not pull that back, then no, I don't want to vote. I'm not voting for you.
Okay, we're going to break for a commercial here, Grace, and then we're going to come back and talk about Joe Biden, how he's doing.
Oh boy!
All right, so let's have our commercial.
All right.
Who's a candidate? Who's a candidate? Who's a candidate? Who's a candidate?
I know what it is to be a victim of police brutality, to fight for justice, for Amadou Diallo, Abdel Louima, because I was there. Racial inequality is woven into the fabric of America.
2021, make your vote count now, count now, count now, count now. Vote now, vote now, vote now. Every card that is a ballot now.
We have to end inequality in our school and in housing and ensure we won't have crime and gun violence destroying our city. This is our moment.
Make it count, make it count, make your vote, make it count. We say, oh yeah, who's our candidate? 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 Who's our candidate?
Okay, we're back from the commercials. Again, this is not public television, so if you watch a normal television show on, say, a network show, I used to tape MASH, and they were only 22 minutes. They were 8 minute commercials. So I understand that my co-host Anthony Vecchio is with me also now. Anthony, can you say hello?
Oh, there you are.
Good
I think
morning.
I
Good
think the mask got his
afternoon.
tongue.
Hello. Good
Hi,
evening.
Anthony. Hi.
We have Grace Lovett,
Hi,
Grace with
Grace.
us.
How you doing?
Good. You?
Hi,
You look
Grace.
good. Can you hear me?
You
Can you
look
hear me?
good too.
Oh, thanks.
I
I
can. Can you
tried.
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
hear
can
you.
hear you, Anthony.
I hear you.
I don't know if you're on a 7 second delay or not.
All right. Well, I want you
Oh.
guys to know. Well, I want you guys to know. I was, of course, as you know, I have 3 lives. I was taking care of all 3 of them, and then all of a sudden, I got this thing in my ear that said "Bad Boy Bob," and all of a sudden, it brought me here.
All right, we were talking about we had the artist who did the mural on Allerton Avenue. You were there, Anthony. What did you think of the mural of Jazzy J?
The mural itself or the festival?
The mural. What did he's finished? You know, when he finished the mural, what did you think of it?
I thought the whole event from beginning to end, including the mural and the presentation and afterwards, was wonderful. Even more so because, to my understanding, it was something that took place sort of like a semi-last minute type of event. So for that to happen,
Uh-huh.
and for Grace and her partners to be able to assemble the hip hop world in such a short period of time, I
Mm-hmm.
thought was amazing.
Well, thank you, and I have to give credit to Al Pizarro, who's basically, he does a lot of hip hop events, and so if it wasn't for him, a lot of the stuff, he got in touch with the artists and so on and so forth. I was the money girl. I was, I had to bring in the money, and then, and Irene did help because I did have a death in the family that I had to go away for, and went to at the transportation meeting to found out that I needed signatures because it was a first time event. So Irene was here on the ground. She got the signatures for me. Um, Otherwise, the event may not have happened because the community board would have shot it down if I didn't have the signatures from the merchants.
That, Grace, let me tell you again, that goes by community board. When I
Right.
was on board 8, you didn't need signatures. It
No,
goes
I
by
know.
the board.
Community board, that's 11. I don't know about other community boards, but I know 11, what they do. And, and I should have known it because when I first started my block parties back in 2013, I had to get signatures from the majority of people on my block to do it. Then once you do that, you don't have to do it. So, I wasn't thinking, and so we got that done. But just to be clear, it was the event from the Allerton Barnes Block Association. That's
Mhm.
my association that I've had for a long time. But because I was doing other things, I kind of let it go by the wayside. Well, now I'm concentrating on getting it up and running again. So, I'll be doing less of other things and more stuff
Okay,
for me.
Let me bring Anthony up to speed. Anthony, we were talking about the Community Board 11 meeting last night, the hip hop festival. We had the artist on before. You came on at the right time, replacing him. And let's move into national politics. Okay, we. I'm trying to think of a way to bring Grace into this without. Okay, well, let's just go
Just
for
do it.
opinion,
Just rip
Grace.
the band-aid off. Do it.
Okay, we're almost in November, Grace.
Hmm.
We know that many of us know that you were a big fan of the former president. What
Okay.
do you think of President Biden's administration the first 8 months?
He's not a president. He's not the president. I don't consider him the president. He's a
Why?
joke. He's a
Why?
joke because he's a senile old man, and this was all done by the Democratic Party and through their corruption. I'm not saying, listen, I don't, whatever. Republicans are also to blame. They're all to blame for this mess. They knew listen, let's go back to, remember the debates for the Democrats? You had um you had Kamala Harris. You had a bunch of different ethnicities in that bunch, right? And lo and behold, that they're looking for change. They want to do this, that, and the other thing. And who do they come out as their who did they select? Because he was already selected by these people, and the people that were running against him caved. They got bought off to drop out of the race. So, but look, you have an old senile white man that's in charge of the country, and then you have I don't even know if she's African American, black, whatever, Kamala, who basically sexed her way to the top. That's on record.
Oh, okay, Grace.
So I'm just saying we don't have a good position right now up there.
And as you see on this show, we allow all positions. We are not just one position that we're the Bronx Democratic Party. We take opinions of every different person. Anthony, let's turn to you and hear what you think of the first 9 months of Joe Biden.
It's less painful to have a baby. Let me add that.
Anthony. Okay, Anthony, let's hear from you.
Well, I don't have any answer for you, Robin, because I'm still waiting for it.
I agree with you on that. I'm waiting too. They finally got past a $1 billion infrastructure bill.
No, they haven't.
No, it's trillion, not billion.
And no, they haven't.
And they're inching closer to it.
What they have is a foundation, nothing approved. And Ms. Ocasio-Cortez announced this morning that she's going to ask her delegates not to vote for it because she believes the foundation is not solid yet.
Well, one thing is for sure, all right, and don't take this the wrong way, Grace. New York City has gotten, and New York State has gotten money from President Biden when they didn't get it from President Trump. Okay? I'm trying to be neutral here, but I have to bring out the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's move down to the state level. Grace
we got something better than money.
What's that?
Something better than money. We got an experimental vaccine.
No.
That's what we got.
Right. That's the key word. The key word is experimental. There you go.
That's what we got.
Exactly.
Anthony and Grace have not been vaccinated.
No.
I was vaccinated because I had to. In order to do my job.
Unless they had a gun to your head, Bob, you didn't have to.
But I'll tell you that Dr. Chachi, the head of the New York City Department of Health, told me you're immune. Okay. And Dr. Katz, the head of the Health and Hospitals Corporation, said you're immune and you don't.
And what happened, Robert? You went and took the shot. And just because you had an overnight reaction, you wrote a public article that said you had COVID.
Right. I thought they were killing me. I went to Jacoby Hospital 2 days later and said, what did you put in that shot that you gave?
Well, wait a minute, Robert. Let's go a couple of steps back. Why did you go to Jacoby in the first place? Because you said it was a professional.
I went to Jacoby because
you found out that the people that gave you the shot get paid a little bit over minimum wage.
Right. I thought I was going to get the shot from a nurse, not an outside contractor. And when I went back to find out, because the first shot was nice and easy, little prick. The second shot, the woman came out and went to a vial, filled something up, went into her little compartment, and called me in. Everything was fine until I went to sleep. I couldn't breathe. I mean, I got a few symptoms of COVID. That's why I know, because I had the COVID back in March of 2020. But
let's be honest, all 97 of those symptoms hit you all at once.
But like I said,
notice I said 97 because we still haven't figured it out yet.
You're absolutely right. Let's move on, Anthony. Grace and I were talking about our current governor. Okay, and I'll say Grace.
That one.
Grace.
Which one?
Kathy Hochul.
Hochul. Grace, I'm going to say to you,
Kathy Hochul up.
at a Democratic Party dinner in 2015. She appeared because Governor Cuomo was in an airplane going somewhere. And I said to her, gee, it's stormy out, and are you ready to take over in case that plane that Governor Cuomo is should crash and he could not be governor anymore? And she went like that. It looked like a deer in headlights. And
Mhm.
that probably started my disagreement with the Bronx Democratic Party because they came over and said, what are you asking her that question?
Mhm.
But so now she was thrown into it 5 years later, and she's the governor. Everybody is trying to be nice to her. And
I'm
well,
not.
no, the Democratic Party.
Robert, I know where the question's going, so let me give you an answer.
Is there
But
a
for me to give
question?
you a proper answer, I need to share my business with you so you could understand my answer. When me and three financial advisors left Wall Street to create a business 25 years ago, we of course thought we could do it. And we all found out later on that when you're creating a business, any type of business, there's always four foundations that you want to implement: marketing, sales, finance, administration. So, of course, I had two partners that all three of us together were great salespeople. We knew nothing about marketing. We knew nothing about finance. We knew nothing about administration. So as we're, trying to be great salespeople, we're learning these things sort of on the go. So now to get to your question, I believe Kathy Hochul has done an excellent job being a fundraiser. That's what she did before. That's what she's doing now. And I think she's excellent at those parameters. Now, as far as the other functions of her job, I I would venture to say she doesn't know them, and some of the policies that she's implemented, I'm not sure even if she's clear as to what she's done.
No, that was not my question, Anthony.
Okay.
My question was that Jay Jacobs, the Democratic Party chair, has come out already and endorsed Kathy Hochul.
Of
Right.
Plus,
course.
he has not endorsed the Buffalo mayor, or I should say the Democratic candidate for Buffalo mayorship. All right. It is the job of the Democratic Party chair to endorse Democratic candidates. We may not like all the candidates,
And
but
now
as
you know why we
Democrats,
have and now you know why we have a city problem. I mean, a state problem, because
okay,
the
so
Democrats are too busy fighting against
let
each other.
me let me ask you: should Jay Jacobs
Really?
resign? Because also he made comments comparing the Democratic candidate to David Duke. So there were people who called for his resignation. I believe he should resign myself. What is the opinion of Anthony and Grace? Anthony.
What I would love to see is, instead of AOC hanging out somewhere else, I like to see you go to Jay Jacobs' door and have a conversation with him, because that's the essence of it. Established Democrats versus progressive, right? That's
She
what it's
called
all
for him
about.
to resign. Grace, you want to put your 2 cents in?
Sure. I always got 2 cents for you. I don't know who this person is, but on the face of it, on the face of it, no, he shouldn't resign or be, because that's part of this new cancel culture. That if you don't go, I mean, that's corruption, Bob. If he doesn't go along with what they say, what the majority wants, or whatever, that mindset, then we need to get rid of them. How about people have individual thoughts and opinions and not have to do lockstep like a Nazi for everything? See,
And
that's the problem. That's the corruption right there.
Grace, you're a Democrat, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I'm whatever. I'm,
No,
I'm
no.
neither here nor there.
What party are you registered in?
I am registered Republican. I switched last year, as I was a Democrat my whole life, but I'm not a Democrat. I've never been a Democrat that follows the leader. I
Okay, so
lead my own self. I vote according to who I think is going to be the best for the country, for the community, and who's going to help our state. Not not give unconstitutional mandates about whether or not you should get vaccinated, or I say, and I use that term loosely, and whether or not you need to wear a mask, and whether or not people have to ask for a passport. I mean, let's just go back to Nazi Germany here, okay? And people say, well, I was just doing my job. Well, that's why 6 million Jews got killed, and a lot more millions got killed because of that mindset, and that's where we're at.
As I
So I
said,
don't think he should resign because he hasn't endorsed. Maybe he will. I mean, how much? Maybe he will endorse the guy. Maybe he won't. But you know what?
woman.
People like me. See, you're in the know like that. But people like me, the general population, don't know who this guy is and could care less. I don't
Okay.
know. I only know Kathy Hochul because now she's. I met her a few times up in Albany. Um, but I don't like her because she had to know what was going on with Cuomo all those years, and she said nothing.
Well, it seems
So
that our assemblywoman also worked for Governor Cuomo, as
yeah,
well as our state senator worked for Governor Cuomo. So,
that's right.
uh,
Yep, that's
and
right.
our state senator has said that she was there during the toxic period.
Right.
Any comments, Anthony, first?
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
As a co-host, let me ask both of you a question.
Okay.
Because you're right, Robert. Let me get the opinion of both Robert Press and, of course, our guest, Gracie, first. Where I would like to ask,
Uh-oh.
yes, both of you have a state assembly person and a state senator that have worked for our Cuomo administration. And Grace, I agree with you that there's no way Ms. Hochul couldn't have known.
Right.
So the question is really twofold. A, do you believe your state representatives today, when they were working in the administration years ago, do you think they knew anything about it? And if so, why do you think they were quiet?
Go ahead, Grace.
Yes, I do think they knew about it, and they're quiet because they want to save their political careers. They want to they go in lockstep like the Nazis, and they go along with the party line. That nothing to see here, folks. Meanwhile, you have these people that come out, and now all of a sudden they want to champion women who have been abused, but they never said anything about that. So you have to. I mean, anybody with common sense can see that. When you're working in an environment, and if it was that toxic, like everybody claims, then they would have known. He might have even hit on them,
I'm
but
going
they
to
didn't
give
say anything. But one of the things that I don't like about this is that everybody's focused on this sexual harassment. What about the thousands of elderly people that Cuomo killed? Why is he not up on murder charges? That's the
all right.
big question.
I'm going to answer Anthony's question this way. Our assemblywoman, Natalia Fernandez, ran for borough president, and she made a comment to Louis Sepulveda that was really underhanded. She said, I'm waiting for Senator Sepulveda to stop choking his wife. Yet last night there was an event at Fordham Plaza, and who was there? Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez and State Senator Louis Sepulveda. And they were acting like they were good buddies. So I don't understand this about Natalia Fernandez.
I understand that.
When you're running for office, that's
Well,
when
wait
you
a minute, because that's not the question. But that's not the question. But that's not the question I asked you. The question I asked you was: we have a state senator and an assembly person that, at the time, they worked for the Cuomo administration. Some of them going back as far as.
Well, I'm just giving you the
my
example.
question is: do you believe that they knew about what happened? And if they were, and if you believe so, why were they so quiet? Now, let me pick up on something Grace said. Do you believe, because I think Grace indicated she believed it, do you believe any of these women were hit on by Mr. Cuomo himself?
I cannot answer that since I was not there, Anthony. I have given you certain
So that's
examples.
your answer.
Okay, I've given you
No, but that's your answer, right? I mean, it has nothing to do with Fordham Road or Louis Sepulveda.
No, but I'm giving you examples.
Your answer is you don't know because you weren't there.
Right. But I'm giving you an example of how our assemblywoman when after State Senator Sepulveda, and now they're back to being good friends. So was
Well,
that
not
an act by
necessarily.
her? Was it
They're
real?
not that they're not necessarily good friends, but they play the game. I understand that because when I was a young thing in the corporate world, I did get hit on a lot by my bosses, and I had to bring it to the top boss to get them to stop, okay? Making certain comments about certain parts of my body, just being very lascivious and just being nasty. But so women, I don't know about guys, but from a woman's point of view, women have to learn how to deal with that because that I had a job to do. I wasn't going to lose my job over some old lech. So, you have to learn to do that. And then in politics, Bob, you can be at each other's throats and be buddy buddy or appear to be buddy buddy the next day, but that's just part of the game. You
You're
have
right.
to do that. You may not like people that you around you, but you have to work with them at some
You're
point.
absolutely right. Okay. And
What color is this?
green.
It looks
That's
like a
the
grayish
common
green.
denominator.
Well, that
That's
too.
the
Yes.
common denominator.
Yes.
Well, let me just say, I want to say something about our Assemblywoman. She is a very nice looking, I'm trying to be as neutral as I
She's
can
a very
be.
attractive girl.
Yes, you
She
just
is.
said it. Okay. And whether Governor Cuomo hit on her or not, I can't tell you because I wasn't there.
Right.
Right. She has said to me about making comments when I say, gee, because she always goes around now in jeans. And when she dresses up, I like to give a compliment. Gee, you look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taken that
Well,
as a
you've
hit.
given two compliments in the last 30 seconds. So I'm starting to believe that if she wasn't an assemblywoman, you might hit on her yourself.
No, Anthony, I was married. Right now, I'm going through my divorce. I've been separated for over 2 years. Okay. And I was faithful to my wife. I was very faithful, and I wasn't doing that. Okay. And you can ask some of these women, all right? They're very attractive out there that I came in contact with,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually hit on me, but I said no because I was happily married.
Are you fainting, Anthony?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, listen. As a woman I can assume. I would say I would bet 99% that they were hit on by Cuomo or by other members of the Assembly and Senate. I mean, that's a
No,
normal thing.
wait. I mean, to Robert's comments, in one sense, he is right. If he's never experienced it directly, or more importantly, the culture of Albany, because that's
Mhm.
really where it all stems from.
Well,
Right.
I
this is
have worked with elected officials off and on for 30 years, and on a state level, I've had to have gone to Albany on many an occasion.
Uh-huh.
And sadly, that's where a lot of that festers.
Well, I've been there on a few occasions, but never the party. So why don't you tell us what goes on at Sumos, which is coming up very soon, Anthony, right after the election? What
Oh,
happens?
Lord have mercy. Somos, in simple terms, is very similar to the Albany caucus that has been taking place for the last 40 years. If you've never been to the Albany caucus, it's a weekend of workshops. Let me
Debauchery?
emphasize that. Workshops.
Oh,
And they meet and they have workshops on a number of topics, whether it's from health, diversity, transportation,
mhm.
and that's during the course of the day. So, you might go to your first workshop 10, 11 in the morning, have a nice lunch around 12 or 1, maybe shoot by the beach from 2 to 3, come back for another workshop 4 to 5, and then your day is technically over. But 90% of the people that go to Somos don't go there for the day. They go for the evenings, just like the Albany caucus. When the day events are over, they have evening, what we call them, celebrations, where the people that have supported the elected
Mhm.
officials, so for example, unions, right, have wonderful parties.
Corruption.
District Council 37 is well known up in Albany, and not just for its lobbying presence. They're also well known for their after office, after workshop parties up in Albany. So it's really no different at Somos. Now they've had Somos for a number of years. Of course, every year they try to tweak it and get it a little bit better, a little bit better, but it's really no different than Albany.
So you mean that the quote unquote people that our guest Grace calls lechers are let out in the open with all those women. Is that correct, Anthony?
I would only slightly correct you and say both women and men.
Okay,
That's
because like
true.
I've
That's
never
true
been to
because
those.
yeah.
Okay, so I couldn't tell you. It's a good description. So uh,
I'm with
let's
you,
continue.
Anthony.
Let's continue though on a little bit more. We were talking about national politics. Our show is about to end in a few minutes. So let me just go. Is there anything that anybody wants to say before the end of the show?
Well,
Grace?
yes, I'd like to say that I am working on next year's hip hop festival. Maybe we might do Christian. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm working on that. So I'd appreciate a support from the community. I'll be asking for donations and sponsorships and so on. And it was such a great event last time that we're hoping to expand the blocks. I was only given one block. I had asked for three, but I was only approved for one. So being that there was no incidents and everything went very well, I'm going to assume, I could be wrong, that I'll get a couple more blocks for next year. So it'll be bigger and better, and I'll have more time to work on it as well.
Okay, so you're going to be going to back to the old Allerton International Merchants, working with the chairman of the Allerton International Merchants, probably?
Well, no, this would be an Allerton Barnes Block Association
Okay.
event, like it was a couple of Saturdays ago. I mean, by all means, if AIM wants to participate in it, I welcome anybody that wants to be helpful, but not to be destructive. I have other things
Mhm.
to do, and I don't need to be worrying about backbiting and all that stuff.
Right.
So,
You don't
you
want
know,
any elected official taking it over in their name, correct?
no, I don't want them taking it over. And the reason that I wanted to do this festival was threefold. One, to bring for the community, because if you stand on Allerton Avenue and you just watch people going by, it's so depressing. You see the depression in people's faces, in the way they walk, how they hold themselves. It's very depressing. I see junkies or alcoholics or whatever walking by, and it reminds me of my old neighborhood. I come originally from 163rd in Intervale, Fort Apache. That was my at the height of the just before it got burned down. My father got us out of there just
Mhm.
before it was the burning. They burned it down.
All right.
So so I saw I'm seeing this here. So that was one. Two was also to try to help the merchants with some foot traffic because of this pandemic and everything being closed down. And finally, I wanted to bring some historic significance to the Allerton area
Mhm.
to try to uplift it that way. So now it's
Right.
to bring it on the map because, like we talked about before with the community boards, people from other parts of the district get more and Allerton gets nothing because
Yeah,
we're
well,
not looked on as a force to be reckoned with.
Grace, and I remember that as a almost Italian merchant strip. I remember D'Alessio Supermarket, which has been torn down
Exactly.
and is going to be replaced. But Anthony, you're going to get the final word. So go ahead.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say as the final word is that I'm going to help Grace. I think Grace needs to be a little bit more accurate in her description. The name of her organization is called ABBA, right? Am I saying that right?
Right. Well, that's the acronym for it. It's
ABBA.
the Allerton
It
Barnes
always
Block
reminds me of the
Association.
pop group.
It's the Allerton Barnes Block
Right, right.
Association. Yeah.
So, right. So, I'm only going to say, I don't know if you're aware, Grace, the pop group itself
Oh yeah.
actually announced yesterday they're making a comeback.
Oh, they are? No, I didn't know that. Well, then maybe I helped them. Maybe people are recognizing the name. I used to
Yeah.
listen to ABBA.
So I only say all that to say that I understand you want to, as you said, sort of, bring it back and make it stronger. I also know from being there last week that you had Assemblywoman Fernandez there,
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
don't see any reason why now you have this earlier time. So of course you should be able to promote better. You should be able to advertise better. You should
Hmm.
be able to fundraise better. You should also be able to get monies from your elected officials better, because I
Well,
understand a lot of them were there that night,
no, the
right?
only ones.
So
Okay,
you should.
not well. Natalia came. She donated
Well, let me
something.
rephrase that. I
Yeah.
apologize. Look, I apologize. Let me rephrase that. There were very few elected officials there.
Right.
What
And
was there were all
mhm.
these proclamations by elected officials, right?
Right. Well, there was
So that's who you
just a
need to go
couple.
and attack. If they don't have the balls or the other thing to show up, that's another
Right.
story. But if they're willing to put their name on a
Mm-hmm.
proclamation to get
Right.
their name out there,
Right.
then they need to give you a check.
And Anthony,
That's
who would
right.
those
So
elected officials be, Anthony?
Say that again?
Who would
Ruben
those
Diaz,
elected officials be?
Oh, well, I mean, look, she should, of
Ruben
course,
Diaz
start at
Jr.
the
You want me to tell
beginning.
you?
You should
Ruben
start
Diaz
with her.
Jr.
You should start. No, 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 no. You should start with your state. You should start with your city and state officials as a given, right? Just as given. You start from there. And then, of course, the people that gave the proclamations, and not just to the organizers,
Uh huh.
but also to the guests, right? They
Uh
got a
huh.
lot of proclamations too, but they wouldn't have got it if they didn't come to your event, correct?
Right. Exactly. Right.
So again, you tie it all in. You
Mm-hmm.
start with your elected officials because that's a given, and
Right.
then you take it.
Wait. He froze. He
Yeah,
froze up. Oh,
well,
he's frozen. Oh no, he's not frozen anymore.
go ahead, Anthony, continue.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, no. I was going to say. So you start with your elected officials, your
Uh
local
huh.
elected officials, right? That's a given, and then you
Right.
take it from there. Then you go to the proclamation list.
Right.
And again, just like you said, you have all this extra time, which of course you can use very valuably.
Right.
I think
Mm-hmm.
you should. And I would even go as far as your partner, who's also a quote unquote party official.
Well,
We don't.
well,
Go ahead, Grace.
let's be clear. That was my event, and I did have help. But just so we're clear, that was an Allerton Barnes Block Association event with the help of, yes, Irene did help. Irene definitely, she was there because when I had to go away for my sister-in-law's funeral, she was here on the ground getting signatures for me. So yes, Irene was definitely a big help to me. Um,
No, I didn't say she wasn't
yeah.
I didn't say she wasn't a help, but correct me if I'm wrong. Just like any other district, we have elected and party officials in every district. So
Right.
you got a female district leader, you got a female state committee woman,
Mm-hmm.
you got a male district leader, you got a male state committee woman, committeeman. If you don't know who your county leaders are, I would suggest you give them a call and find
Uh-huh.
out who represents your area
Right.
specifically.
Okay,
Yep.
we're going to close the show, so I'm going to say thank you to Grace. Thank you to the artist Steve.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you for
Thank-
Anthony coming in. And thank you to all our viewers. And if anybody wants to come on the show, just email me at 100, then everything is letters PERCENTBRONXNEWS at gmail.com. That's 100 percent Bronx News at gmail.com, because we try and give you 100%. At least I do.
And if any woman wants to sexually harass me because I have beautiful gray hair, you're welcome to come on down.
I'll be there in a minute, Aunt.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Producer, we should be closing the show now.
Thanks,
Hey.
guys. Thank you.
Uh,
Mwah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Good job, Grace. Good job.
No, I hope so.
All right.
Hope I didn't make too many more enemies. All right, I'm gonna leave now. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
All right.
I don't know if we're on or off.
I don't know, Anthony. Well, let's continue our talk about our political leaders then.
Go ahead.
All right. I understand.
Now I don't hear you.